The Young and the Restless spoilers update for the week of November 17th to 21 reveals that Claire Newman will get schooled while Nick Newman goes digging. Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall, will also corner Sharon Newman, so there'll be a lot happening in Genoa City. First, Kane Ashby will cave in when it comes to his attraction to Phyllis Summers, so there'll be some hot moments in her room at the GCAC. Meanwhile, Lily Winters will finally start to understand Kane's perspective a bit better, but will this realization come too late? This whole sizzling mess with Kane and Phyllis could cause all kinds of problems. Lily will eventually do some commiserating with Holden Novak, who'll be dealing with romantic drama of his own. Although Holden was hoping to build something new with Claire Newman, she'll pump the brakes on him. Holden will also have to worry about Claire pestering him for more information on his past with Audra Charles. We'll see Holden deal with another grilling session and put a stop to Claire's next face-off with Audra too. However, Audra isn't the kind of gal who lets people push her around, especially someone like Claire. That's why Audra's going to plot her retaliation after Claire delivers some threats, but her move could backfire if she's not careful. In the meantime, Y&R spoilers say Claire will have some questions for Nicky Newman. It turns out Claire's going to get schooled on some history, so she might get updates on Matt Clark once news spreads about his return. Nicky may tell Claire some awful stories about how far Matt took things against Sharon, as well as Nick in the past. Although Matt always brings a horror show when he resurfaces, Sharon won't cower in fear when he corners her at her hotel room. Will Matt finally drop the Mitch act and show off his most sinister self? Regardless, Victor Newman will find out the latest Matt shockers and resolve to help Nick defeat him. After Victor helps with some plotting, Nick will search for intel that he can use against Matt in the coming episodes. As for Noah Newman and Sienna Bacall, they'll find themselves stuck in Matt's trap. Detective Burrow will apparently help Matt create a captivity situation, so Sienna and Noah may need some help escaping soon. On a happier note, Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti's nuptials will begin, so that'll bring some sweet moments and set the stage for a little wedding day drama. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Phyllis may not be able to resist stirring the pot, so stay tuned. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for Monday, November 17th reveals that Lily Winters will be Kane Ashby's new cheerleader while Holden Novak breaks up a fight. At the GCAC, Phyllis Summers will drink with Kane and assume something happened with Lily to change his mind about a fresh start. Phyllis will note that Kane changes his mind a lot and will wonder if he might change it once again, but he'll insist he's not going to. Despite Kane's plan to put Aristotle Dumas behind him, Phyllis will suspect the line has blurred so much that he doesn't know who he really is anymore. Phyllis won't have a problem with that and will think Kane should just let this blurred line happen. After Kane joins Phyllis up in her suite, they'll have a nightcap before he mulls over more accusations. Kane will wonder if Phyllis swiped the AI program with the intention of going after Arabesque for pennies on the dollar. Phyllis will maintain that she isn't behind the program theft, so Kane will move in close and play up his attraction to her. It'll leave Phyllis glad that she's got Kane's attention as they start kissing wildly. At Society, Lily will weird Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson out by suddenly becoming Kane's cheerleader and acting like he deserves a chance to prove himself. Adam will have a tough time buying that Kane has changed, and will point out he wasn't exactly a Boy Scout before all the Dumas drama either. Although Lily will accuse Victor of the AI program theft, Adam will insist there's no proof and will keep the focus on Kane's own bad behavior. Lily will want the Newmans to back off Kane and let him heal his family, but Chelsea and Adam will act like Kane needs to end the conflict he started. Once Lily stomps over to the bar, she'll have some Kane flashbacks and leave him a voicemail that basically points to her torn heart. Lily will hint about needing time and won't be certain of how patient Kane can be as she hangs up. At the coffee house, Claire Newman will clear the air with Holden regarding Los Angeles. Although Claire enjoyed herself with Holden, she won't want to dive into a new relationship and won't know if they'll ever hit the sheets again. Claire will clarify that she's not getting back together with Kyle Abbott and that she doesn't judge Holden over his confession about what he did with Audra Charles. That said, Claire will look uneasy as she questions Holden about whether he regrets what happened with Audra. Holden won't seem like he really does, but he'll try to play it off as nervousness over Claire watching him like a hawk. Claire will eventually question if there was some part of the story that wasn't so neat and tidy. It'll leave Claire wondering if Holden would fill her in if that news. When Audra appears on Monday's Y&R episode, she'll taunt Claire about going from boring Kyle to Holden the player. Claire will hint about being able to make trouble for Audra with one phone call, but Audra will threaten to mess up Claire's pretty face as the fight escalates. Holden will play referee, but Claire will get the last word in when she hints about Holden needing to answer her earlier question. Claire will make things seem ominous for Audra before she exits with Holden. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Audra and Claire's feud is far from over, so we'll bring you updates on the next round of tension. The Young and the Restless recap for Monday, November 17th, reveals that Claire Newman and Audra Charles will have a raging showdown, while Phyllis Summers and Kane Ashby indulge in some private passion. At Crimson Lights, Claire will bump into Holden Novak and think they should talk about what happened between them in Los Angeles. Although Claire still won't have any regrets about their night together, she won't be sure it's going to happen again. Claire will assure Holden that she's not reuniting with Kyle Abbott, but she won't be ready to jump into a new relationship either. Holden will worry that his confession about what went down with Audra might be pushing Claire away. Claire will assure Holden that, considering her history, she wouldn't judge someone else who also regrets past mistakes. When Claire seeks confirmation that Holden indeed regrets his actions with Audra, he'll hesitate briefly before insisting that of course he does. Claire will be suspicious and wonder if Holden would tell her if there was a worse part of the story he left out. When Audra pops up, she'll immediately start pushing Claire's buttons. Claire will get under Audra's skin too by bringing up the Shadow Room and all the excitement Audra found in Los Angeles back in the day. Claire will eventually lash out at Audra for being selfish and having no scruples, but Audra will point out that at least she didn't try to kill her entire family. Holden will do his best to stop the fight that's breaking out, but Claire will hint about being able to change things with one phone call and will warn Audra to stay out of her way. Audra will fire back about crossing whatever boundary she needs to cross to keep Claire quiet. After Audra threatens to mess up that pretty face of Claire's, Holden will finally convince Claire to leave with him. However, Claire will remind Holden that he still has to answer her question. When Audra asks what the question is, Claire will suggest that Audra and everyone else will find out soon enough. At Society, Lily Winters will overhear Adam Newman talking to Chelsea Lawson about Kane getting what he deserves. Lily will rush to Kane's defense since he's genuinely trying to make amends, and will push the Newmans to back off so their family can heal. Adam and Chelsea will be skeptical of Kane's redemption attempt, so they'll continue to act like this is karma and that what happens next is up to Kane. After Lily walks away on Monday's Y&R episode, Chelsea will mull over whether Lily might give Kane another chance. Adam will feel like there's a lot more of Dumas left in Kane than Lily's willing to admit. At Society's bar, Lily will flash back to various interactions with Kane since he's been back in Genoa City. Once Lily dials Kane's phone number, she'll apologize in a voicemail since things got heated earlier. Lily will struggle with her words as she talks about needing time and not knowing if Kane has the patience for that or not. While Lily disconnects in frustration, Kane will be busy enjoying his evening with Phyllis, who'll work to convince him that he shouldn't bury Aristotle Dumas. Phyllis will play up Dumas' bold qualities and suggest Kane should embrace the blur between Dumas and Kane. After Kane and Phyllis hint about secret plans, he'll urge her to invite him up to her suite for a nightcap. Kane will end up drinking with Phyllis in her room, where he'll suggest maybe she stole the AI program and used it on Arabesque so she could scoop it up cheap. Phyllis will deny that and once again lie that she wasn't behind the AI program theft. Kane and Phyllis will ultimately have an intense makeout session as they both embrace their attraction to each other. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Kane may regret taking things this far with Phyllis once he hears Lily's voicemail, so stay tuned for updates on his reaction to the latest Lily news. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks, November 17th to November 28th, reveal that Detective Annie Stewart will join the LA story while trapped Noah Newman and Sienna Bacall need a rescue. During the week, November 17 to 21st, Kane Ashby and Phyllis Summers will let passion take control in her suite, while Lily Winters defends Kane to Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman. Later, Lily will find common ground with Holden Novak, but he'll have to prevent a brawl between Claire Newman and Audra Charles first. After Jack Abbott grills Nikki Newman about Victor Newman's AI program plans, Nikki will have some stories to share with Claire. Once the news trickles out to Genoa City that Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall, is alive, Claire may turn to Nikki for answers about Matt's history. As for Victor, he'll team up with Nick Newman on a Matt takedown plan. Nick will eventually seek some leverage he can use against Matt, who'll end up facing off with Sharon in her hotel room after a fire alarm blares. While Sharon refuses to let fear take over, Audra will have a similar idea as she schemes against Claire. Despite Claire's partial knowledge of what happened in Los Angeles, Audra will refuse to let Claire think she's got the upper hand. Back in LA, it looks like unconscious Noah will be tossed in captivity with Sienna, who'll wake him up and let him know that they're both in some trouble. Matt will make sure Sienna and Noah land in the trap he's set for them, so stay tuned for updates on what he plans to do to the cheaters. We should also mention that Catherine Kresge will make her YNR debut as Detective Annie Stewart on November 20th, so she'll no doubt get tangled up in all the criminal chaos. Next, the November 21st episode will bring the start of Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti's 2-day marriage ceremony event. The second part will kick off on November 24th, so the week of November 24th to 28 will begin on a wonderful wedding note. Danny and Christine's nuptials will bring some exciting returns since Gina Roma and Nina Webster will both come back to help celebrate. Christine will also wear a bridal gown that was chosen by fans on social media, so we'll all be eager to see the dazzling winner. Of course, it wouldn't be a soap wedding without a little drama. Phyllis is a schemer at heart, so she may decide to throw a few final curveballs as Danny and Christine prepare to say, "I do." Once the wedding fun wraps up, there should be more Matt mayhem in Los Angeles. A Noah and Sienna rescue mission may get underway if they can't escape Matt's trap on their own. As for dirty Detective Burrow, he may have a hard time keeping his shady activities under wraps. That's especially true if Detective Stewart is a by-the-book cop who suspects Burrow is up to no good. Whatever the case, Sharon and Nick will do everything in their power to back Matt into a corner, but they won't keep him down for long. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some twists and turns are still to come on the CBS soap, so don't miss all the action. On The Young and the Restless, Roger Howarth came in and gave us a dose of what the man is clearly born to do, giving us one heck of a villain. For that, he earned its honors of Soap Central's Performer of the Week for The Young and the Restless. Howarth has played the heck out of this role since his arrival just over 2 weeks ago. And what a surprise that was. As Sharon bumped into a random stranger, we all collectively gasped as her face turned from surprise to one of horror. Howarth's delivery of the return of one of YNR's most hated characters was precise and flawless. And when last week's Performer of the Week met this week's Performer of the Week, Howarth did not flicker recognition or any sign of being uncomfortable in Nick's presence. Feigning innocence even after being assaulted, the fight, or should I say beatdown sequence, was unnervingly real to us at home. Playing this kind of role comes easily to Howarth. The example I want to use is his way of softening up a target and delivering lines that would have Noah rethinking things, telling Noah they were friends and that he had in fact done nothing to give him any reason to think otherwise. We got to watch this villain set up Noah for the line that would leave him speechless. With expert command of his facial expressions, Howarth looked genuinely exasperated that Noah would think so little of him. So convincing it was that when the line, "So why would you sleep with my wife?" was delivered, we all gasped, and Noah was caught hook, line, and sinker. This scene, and consistently since his arrival, being the antagonist we need, is why you, Roger Howarth, are Soap Central's Performer of the Week. Stay tuned, soap fans, as we can expect so much more from Matt Clark. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, November 18th, reveal that Victor Newman will target Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall, with a bold move while Jack Abbott launches an interrogation. For starters, Jack will try to pry some answers out of Nikki Newman regarding the AI program threat and what Victor plans to do next. Although Jack will count on Nikki to supply inside info on the looming attack, he'll inevitably come up empty. Nikki doesn't want to see Jack or Jabot face a downfall, so she'd tell him if she had any details on what's brewing. Jack will just have to wait and worry while Victor plots against him, but Victor's mind will be on other things in Tuesday's Y&R episode. It turns out Victor will have his eye on a different target after discovering that Matt is alive and living as Mitch in Los Angeles. Whether Michael Baldwin uncovers the new identity shocker or Nick Newman simply decides to bring his dad in the loop, Victor will fume over Matt's comeback. Nick should offer news on Matt going after Noah Newman and leave Victor even more furious. It won't be long until Victor offers Nick backup and pitches in with a Matt retaliation scheme. At the GCAC, things will get even hotter in Phyllis Summers' suite. Phyllis and Kane Ashby's time together will take another sizzling turn, so it sounds like they may strip down and hit the sheets. Of course, Kane may wish he'd shown some restraint when he hears Lily's message later. It seems Lily's starting to come around and maybe open herself up to the possibility of a reunion with Kane, but she needs him to be patient with her. Kane is acting on risky impulses instead and could ruin this window of Lily reconciliation if he's not careful. This mess with Phyllis could cause another setback, so stay tuned for updates on what's ahead in this strange Kane love triangle. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some romantic surprises are still to come in Genoa City. Sharon, Kane, and Phyllis were the stars of this week's best moments. The Young and the Restless had many buzzworthy moments that got fans riled up this week. From a steamy kiss to a tense confrontation. There were many interesting scenes. Here's a look at some of the best scenes from November 10 to 14. Monday kicked off with Genoa City's new pals, Sally and Audra. Sally's attempts to help a down-on-luck Audra aren't going so well. During a meeting with Billy, Sally was informed that Jill doesn't want Abbott Communications. Sally went to bat for Audra, explaining why she'd be a good fit and that she deserves a second chance. Unfortunately, Sally's pleas fell on deaf ears, and later she had to break the bad news to Audra. However, Sally is someone who won't be deterred. She promised Audra she'd fight for her and find a way to get her on board at Abbott Communications. Sally's fierce loyalty to Audra shows why fans love their friendship. Hopefully, Sally will continue to show her support when Audra's past is finally exposed. Last week, Nick had his long-awaited confrontation with Mitch/Matt Clark. This week, it was Sharon's turn to confront him. Fans are accustomed to seeing Sharon in tears and needing protection. However, she held her own against Matt. Sharon's strength was in full force when she approached Matt. The protective mom showed no fear towards her enemy as she warned him not to mess with her family. If Matt thought Nick was tough, that's nothing compared to what Sharon could do to him. Kane and Adam haven't had many scenes together since his return. But this week, Y&R treated fans to a one-on-one scene with the two Genoa City outcasts. Kane was drowning his sorrows at society when Adam waltzed in and immediately began antagonizing the Newmans' rival. The two were soon trading barbs as Adam celebrated Kane's impending downfall. Adam's taunts did little to rile up Kane, who vowed that this would be a fresh start for him. Kane's calm demeanor certainly raised eyebrows and seemed to rattle Adam. While Adam and Victor have the upper hand, they shouldn't rule out Kane just yet. The show has been teasing a romance between Kane and Phyllis for some time. However, things are now starting to heat up between friends and business partners. Following Kane's encounter with Adam, Phyllis joined him at Society. Talk quickly turned to Kane's attempts to reunite with Lily, but Phyllis had other ideas. The redhead began flirting with Mr. Ashby, convincing him to cut his losses and find a real woman. Kane couldn't resist the attention, and the couple's chemistry was blazing as they wooed each other. But the best part is when the two finally kissed, and needless to say, it didn't disappoint. Kane and Phyllis's lip lock is just the start of the Fane romance, which is bound to have everyone buzzing. But the icing on the cake for the scene is a jealous Lily witnessing the kiss. Tune in to find out about the drama happening in Genoa City. The Young and the Restless spoilers weekly update for November 17 to 21 tease that Audra plots her next move as Noah and Sienna fall into a trap. Plus, Nikki gives Claire a history lesson, and so much more. Tune in next week so you can catch all of the action in Genoa City. Monday, November 10th, 2025. Episode number 13250. Victor reminded Phyllis of the strict terms of their agreement, making it clear that any deviation would have consequences. Meanwhile, Billy and Sally found themselves at odds over the direction of their new business venture, their differing priorities threatening to crack their relationship. Across town, Audra confronted Holden and warned him not to expose their big shared secret, a warning that hinted she was running out of patience. Tuesday, November 11th, 2025. Episode number 13251. Victor made a startling confession to Nikki about his latest corporate maneuver with Kane's AI, forcing her to question just how far he was willing to go to crush his rivals. In Los Angeles, Sharon decided she'd had enough of waiting for answers and took matters into her own hands, a move that put her directly in harm's way when she confronted Matt Clark. At the same time, Nick uncovered shocking evidence about Sienna Bacall that left him reeling. Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. Episode number 113252. Sharon and Matt Clark came face to face in a heated confrontation, each threatening the other as old wounds and new suspicions collided. Back in Genoa City, Billy broke a promise to Sally, reigniting her doubts about whether he'd really changed or if his old impulsive habits were resurfacing. Meanwhile, Nick finally told Sienna the truth about Matt's identity, a revelation that sent shockwaves through her. Thursday, November 13th, 2025. Episode number 13253. Victor and Adam joined forces to launch a calculated attack on Billy's latest business move, determined to expose him and destabilize Billy's business. Kane found himself cornered as accusations and financial chaos mounted, forcing him to defend both his company and his pride. Meanwhile, Cricket and Danny met with their wedding planner to finalize the details of their upcoming ceremony, eager to focus on love. Of course, not all of the planner's ideas resonated. Friday, November 14th, 2025. Episode number 13254. Lily walked in on Phyllis and Kane sharing a kiss that crossed every line, leaving her done. At the same time, Noah was backed into a corner when his confrontation with Matt took a dangerous turn, putting his safety and secrets at risk. Elsewhere, Victoria and Nate struggled to keep their growing attraction under control, their connection threatening to blur the line between friendship and desire.